Am I overreacting for refusing to let my fiance's aunt see our newborn baby until she apologizes for unsolicited jokes? My fiance, 26 male, and I, 24 female, just recently had our first child. This has been a pretty big deal for us since I had a major pregnancy loss with our daughter in 2024. A couple days ago, my fiance's aunt flew in from out of town to congratulate us and meet our son. When she got to our house, she kept making unsolicited jokes about this baby and my loss last year. My fiancé had told her multiple times to stop and got very serious about it. She, however, still refused to apologize to either of us and continued making jokes. I eventually told this aunt that I'm not going to allow her to see the baby anymore until she apologizes and proves to the both of us that she can be a mature adult. I made it very clear to her that I don't need empathy, I don't need her to support either of us through this, nor do I even need her to give us any grievances. All I need from her is to be excited for us in the present moment, not to compare it to the past. Edit. She got very angry when I told her this, and yelled at us for being unfair, and claimed that we're taking her away from her own family. Am I overreacting? Note, my fiancé is in agreement with me and is backing me up 100% on this. He agrees that her words, actions, and level of immaturity are unacceptable. In the comments, absolutely not the asshole. Lock your doors. P.S. Massive congratulations. Enjoy those newborn cuddles. The days are long, but the years are short. OP says, thank you for the congrats. I'm cherishing these newborn cuddles for sure. He'll only be this small once. Someone else says, honestly, I would have told her and put her out on the street to find her own way round and own accommodation. You have a hell of a lot of patience. I would have given her a swift kick in the rear after she was warned the first time. OP says, if my baby wasn't right there in my arms, we would have yelled back at her. Our son was getting fed, so there was only so much we could do to remove him from her yelling, so I had to remove myself from the room as a whole. If it wasn't for our newborn being right there, our patience levels would not have been as stable. Fun Professional says, she effed around and found out. Your baby, your rules. And she's an asshole for making jokes about the loss of a child, and an even bigger asshole for continuing when you've both asked her to stop. Stick to your rules. And Sweet Permission replies, I've lost a child. She was 6. People who said shitty things then are still not in my life over 8 years later. What even is the context of the joke the first time around? I don't think you get a 2 strikes and you're out policy with jokes about child death like that. That's completely soulless and heartless. And for her to do it again in the presence of your child and try to make light of it, I don't know what joke would ever be acceptable like that, especially to parents of newborns, when the death itself happened a year ago. People have been killed for less. That's all I'm saying, people have been killed for the shoes on their feet. I don't understand what it is that happens in people's heads where they're like, this incredibly dark humor, quote unquote, is perfectly acceptable to say to people that are traumatized, to people that have experienced insanely disgusting things like this. I'm going to say it to their face as well, in their home in which they're accommodating me. You're not the asshole at all. I can see why you're questioning whether you're the asshole or not. I get that, things are fresh right now. There's a lot going on in your life, absolutely. But rest assured, she's just an absolute piece of shit, that one. And now, on to the update. I'm not sure if anyone wanted an update, but here it is. Please keep in mind that although I posted just last night, this situation happened multiple days ago. My fiancé's aunt is currently staying with his parents. Earlier today, my fiancé went over to talk to her about it. I stayed home by choice, for what I feel are pretty obvious reasons. He went over and explained to her that we are all cutting contact with her. She is not invited to our wedding, she will never see our son again, etc. He told her that she crossed the line, and that because of her actions, if we did receive an apology, we would have a hard time believing her apology was sincere. Obviously much more was said, I'm just giving a more general overview. The part that threw me off even more was the fact that she never even told his parents what happened. His parents were shocked and flipped out on her. They told her that her options were to go stay at a hotel and experience this area by herself, or to get a ticket to fly back home. None of my fiancé's immediate family, his parents and 2 younger sisters, have turned on or blamed me. I'm so lucky and thankful to have my fiancé as well as most of his family in my life. Thank you for reading, as well as the input that I got in the comments. In the comments, Lucy Aria Rose says, "Honestly, I thought that it was refreshing to have the rest of the family on OP's side for once. None of that, these people are blowing up my phone. Just the family rallying and saying to hell with that behavior." She's the fiancé's aunt, so she's the sibling of one of the parents. That means she was not only saying cruel jokes about OP and her fiancé's lost baby, she also said these cruel jokes about the sibling's lost grandchild. Imagine finding out your sister that you trusted and loved apparently found the tragic loss of your grandchild funny. Smart Quokka says, "I'm impressed at this level of assholery. What did she think would happen?" And yes, I know she was not thinking ahead at all. Powered by Chai says, "Joking is always a front for saying nasty things and having a get-out-of-jail-free card with, 'I'm just kidding.' Some things you just never joke or joke about. I call it Schrodinger's asshole. Look, if someone makes a joke about losing a pregnancy or a very serious topic, I flip out like the devil and throw those people out fast. Aunt is a real asshole. Like, I don't even know what could possibly be construed as a joke in this context. Oh my god, haha, you miscarried, haha, like, what? I know, I'm so morbidly curious because I can't even imagine. Very refreshing to not have flying monkeys come around OP and be like, well, it doesn't matter what they said or what they did, you're an asshole for saying anything and doing anything back to them. How dare you defend yourself? Did you know that you're the devil? Because for some reason, it always happens, and I don't know what's wrong with people. But this is one of those rare examples where everyone bands together against genuine evil and puts a mirror up to its face and goes, look at you. That's not acceptable. There's something wrong with you. Very curious that she said nothing to her siblings when she went back to their house. Oh yeah, I just had to leave the house because we had some creative differences on things. Nope, nothing untoward happened at all. Don't worry about that. Don't go digging any further. There's literally no point. I came back to your house after a very good chat with them, and I'm not talking to them currently. Like, what was the explanation there? I'd love to know. Otherwise, thank you for the story, OP. Thank you for doing the right thing and telling everyone about the shit that she did. She deserves to be outcast for that. Our next post is by user Kavach Dididyach, titled, "Am I the asshole for walking out on a double date that my friend set up with him, his girlfriend, and a girl that I had already rejected before?" I feel like I need to say this for this post to not be removed. This is not about the date, about relationships or something. I want a judgment on me walking out of there. The cast are me, 25 male, Joe, 26 male, and Jane, 24 female. To give you a little background on this situation, I met Jane through Joe's girlfriend at her birthday party last year. At first, Jane was fun to talk to, but not even an hour later, Jane was really into me and tried really badly to hit on me during the party, which pretty much ruined my time there as the feeling was not mutual in the slightest bit. Also, at the time, I was already with someone. So the first impression I got from Jane was that she was clingy, annoying, and just wouldn't stop bothering me. Unfortunately for me, she became part of my larger friend group because she's a part of Joe's girlfriend's friend group. That's a mouthful, sheesh. And because me and Joe hung out a lot, and am also friends with his girlfriend, I pretty much run into her at minimum twice a month. So first time Jane asked me out was a month after that party. I informed her that I was with someone and not interested. She tried again 2 months later when I broke up with my then girlfriend, but again I declined her advances and told her I was not interested. I got into a new relationship not long after, but unfortunately she and I broke up about 2 months ago. Since then, as you might have anticipated, Jane has asked me out again, and I said no again. Well, that brings us to this week. Everything's been opening up here, and Joe had been trying to fix me up with a friend of his girlfriend and would not tell me who. He is well aware of me having rejected Jane multiple times and the fact that I'm not interested in her. He knows this in detail. After a lot of what he calls convincing and I call whining, I had no interest in dating anytime soon. I relented and decided to agree to this double date idea of his. We agree on meeting at Joe's apartment, and lo and behold, Joe, his girlfriend, and Jane are occupying the dinner table, obviously intending for my date to be Jane. I honestly just got so goddamn angry that I couldn't even get a single word out, turned around, and left. I have been bombarded with texts and calls about how much of a douche I am and how terribly I hurt Jane, and so on. And I'm just like, I literally rejected her like 3 times. I am not interested in her. You knew that. Your girlfriend knew that. Our entire friend group has a running joke about obsessive Jane, for frick's sake. So literally everyone knows it. So am I the asshole? In the comments, Just Let Be says, not the asshole, but your friend obviously is. Setting someone up with someone who rejected that person is cruel, not the fact that you turned around. I would honestly do the same. Jane is just as much an asshole as the rest. She knew what was up. Agree. Jane isn't some innocent bystander here. She's been rejected a half a dozen times at this point, but can't take no for an answer. It is beyond harassment at this point. Snoo Chipmunk says, I was very concerned when I read this. What I think you need to do is step back from the situation. You need to re-examine your relationship with your friend Joe. Joe knows how you feel about this girl, and the fact that he set you up like this is a red flag. Joe's girlfriend used her relationship with him to set you up with Jane. Joe is a grown man, and if he is easily manipulated by his girlfriend this way, then you don't need this as a friend. As for Jane, this is what you need to do. You need to be straight with her. You tell her that you do not have feelings for her, and that you will go no contact with her from now on. And that if she tries to contact you in any way, that you will get a lawyer and call the police, pressing charges on her for stalking and harassment. You might want to consider telling your workplace or your landlord about Jane, because if you go no contact with her, something tells me that she may try to show up at your work or your home. Just a thought for your friend Joe and his girlfriend. You tell your friend Joe and his girlfriend that you need to take a break from them for a while. After what they did, I wouldn't trust them as far as I can throw them, and that you need some time to reconsider your friendship with Joe. Even if Joe apologizes for what he's done, he's proven he cannot be trusted with his girlfriend around. He fully knew this was a setup. You're an adult and can find friends elsewhere. Joe's not your family, so you don't owe him anything. It doesn't matter how long you've been friends, even if you consider him family. What he did would break the trust that I would have in a person. After some time, and going no contact with Joe and his girlfriend or low contact, if you do decide to stay friends with Joe, you can start off slowly. You can spend time with him until you can rebuild trust with him. Away from his girlfriend, she is not a part unless she becomes his wife, then it's a whole different story. But until they're married, does not need to be in your relationship because she has no say in it whatsoever. Now, if you do continue the friendship with Joe, you tell him you do not want Jane around you or to give her any information. Or better yet, not to give his girlfriend any information. Until you completely trust Joe, don't tell him anything about your personal life. Just go out, have beers, play pool, go to the movies, hell, even go fishing. If you think the friendship is worth saving, but if it's not worth saving, then you can't fully trust him anymore, because he's helping this girl stalk you. Then I suggest you get some new friends. Call that lawyer to find out what you can do if Jane does not leave you alone. You can either get a restraining order or a protective order, but if you don't have enough evidence for that, you can get a non-contact order. But if she tries to contact you in any way on social media, phone calls, or even comes to your workplace or shows up at your house, or even through your friends, she can get arrested. And when that happens, you can get a full restraining order against her. And if that doesn't work, I'll say sue for stalking and harassment if not taken seriously. If you have the money and exhausted all other resources, it might scare her off. Well, you have a right to be happy. When I read this post, I was seriously worried about you. You deserve to be with someone that makes you happy. I feel like this girl's gonna keep coming after you and instantly turn into a full-fledged stalker. So you need to be careful and watch your back. Please give us an update soon, because I'd like to know how you handled the situation. And now, onto the update. So it's been a little under 2 months, and I've received quite a few requests to make an update over the past 9 or so weeks. Looking at you, Snoo Chipmunks. At first, I was going to make one a week ago, or 3, but I decided against it and instead chose to wait until I had some proper updates. But well, here goes. So it turns out that some of the more pessimistic of you were right. Jane was being obsessive and stalkerish, and it sort of all came tumbling down on her at that point. A week or so after I made my post, she decided to message me. It came down to her not understanding why I was showing interest in her and then refused to date her. I never showed interest in her beyond basic friendliness. A wall of text dedicated to thrashing my previous relationships and calling them all sorts of names, specifically pointing out how I dated the wrong girls, and a weird rant about how everyone agreed me and her were meant to be, which just isn't the case. Like I said in my previous post, there's a running joke in our friend group about how weird she is. Now, you might think that this is something that can be expected, something that just happens, an outlet for her of sorts, except she sent it from the wrong account. See, I had become internet friends with a person in the past month or two. Me and her would game together, chat from time to time, you know, the usual organic internet friend situation, and the messages concerning our date was sent from this account. It turns out she had literally used this alias to infiltrate my internet friend group and keep tabs on me of sorts. Obviously, this freaked me the hell out. I took screenshots of what she had sent me and afterwards blocked all accounts that I knew that she was now using. I followed that up by sharing everything in our friend's Discord and in our friend WhatsApp group so that everyone could see, which resulted in her being kicked from both. And I later got a call from Joe, full-on apologetic, telling me he had no idea and that he knew that he shouldn't have done it, but that his girlfriend was being pressured by Jane. Turned out, Jane had literally been bitching at her for months to arrange something like this, and she finally caved. Again, creepy stuff. I told him that I needed some time, as he really effed me over big time, and I didn't trust him anymore as a result. While Jane has been shunned by all of her friends, she still contacted me twice. Once to apologize, which quickly turned into weird shit where she started talking about us. She is convinced that there is an us and that I am interested, and another time just to curse at me. Both from random accounts. I'm not sure where to go from here, and I'm still pretty shook up. In the comments, Snoo Chipmunk says, "I knew it. I told you she turned into a stalker, using a fake alias and trying to keep tabs on you. I'm not surprised she did this. So Jane was bothering her friend for months. And then she badgered Joe into setting you guys up. So your friend Joe caved into his girlfriend like she did to Jane. Jane is persistent. When she wants something, she wants it, and she wants you. And she will stop at nothing to get it. By getting her best friend to set that double date up with you, it accomplished, I don't know, it took months to set up, but eventually she got what she wanted. Now, as for Joe, he has at least got to apologize to you. But it's your choice if you believe him or not. Or if you accept it. But at least he acknowledges that he screwed up. But I don't blame you for not trusting him. It'll take a long time for him to get your trust back. But as long as he's with his girlfriend, I would not trust her. Now she calls and apologizes to you, but I don't know how to handle that one. But I'd be surprised if she did. This girl lives in a fantasy world. Just be careful and cut all contact. Depending on where you live, tell her that you'll get a protective order or a restraining order against her, and that you'll involve the cops. Be safe and watch your back. OP replies, they both apologized, like full-on long-ass apology via email, but I'm gonna put some distance between me and them, go low contact. I don't think I want friends that screw me over like that. As for a restraining order, I think it's pretty damn difficult to get one. Lighthouse Seek says, there is a non-zero chance that OP's relationship, the one after his original girlfriend, was ended because of Jane. I didn't think of that, and it would be so creepy if you're right. May I never get friends like Joe and his girlfriend. I can't imagine any of my friends acting like that. If someone is being weird and pushy, you confront them and ask what's up. They literally chose their peace of mind and the status quo. The bit about her infiltrating his online friend group is terrifying and would give me trust issues for years. I normally hate the "if this was a woman" comments, but seriously, nobody would dream of setting up a woman with that creepy, persistent friend, so why is it okay to do it to OP? Jane might be less likely to murder OP, but she can still ruin his life. And it really does sound like she did ruin his life in many ways. I am with those commenters in thinking that it was odd to have that relationship break up so quick, especially given OP being like, unfortunately, it ended much sooner, I guess, than he expected. And I think Jane had a part to play in that. Jane is not good news. Jane very much gives off psychopath vibes. I hope that she leaves OP alone and that the social shunning was enough to keep her gone, but sometimes people like that will take it as a challenge and look for revenge against those that dared to stand up for themselves and give those people consequences for their actions. In any case, thank you for the story and thank you for the update, OP. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.